Hello, welcome back to the channel. So last week we started our series of upgrading and retrofitting the starter decks to be playable in standard. We did the mono white deck, the blue deck, and the black deck last week, and this week we're doing the red deck, the green deck, and we're going to be ending this week by starting the two colored decks. And those decks are going to have a little bit more structure to them, but the monocolored decks are very basic, very straightforward, so they'll be pretty easy to retrofit. So that's what we're working on today. Today is the green deck, the large and in charge starter deck. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have to work with and how we're going to change it. Okay, so here we are with the large and in charge starter deck. You'll notice a bunch of cards in a hazy red, and these means that these are cards that are not legal for standard. And the thing with the starter decks, like at least the monocolored starter decks, is they're like 100% alchemy, except for the basic lands. That's it. That's the only thing that translates over. So if you look at the cards here, you notice that there is a little bit of a theme, and the theme is basically just getting small guys out onto the board early and kind of like ramping up into mid-size and large size guys towards the end. So we could keep with that theme. But if we do that, we're most likely going to be going over our budget of 10 rare and mythic cards in order to just like make a good cohesive deck, because like all of like the good payoffs for ramp are rares and wilds. So what I did instead is I decided to go a slightly different route that will still give us the same result. And that route is the +1/+1 counters route. So what we're going with is we're going with a bunch of small creatures that either like have like proliferate or add +1 counters or counters of some kind, and other synergistic spells that also give +1 counters or double the +1 counters that are being given out. So let's take a look at what we have here. So starting down here at the bottom, we have Ascendant Pack Leader, and this card is a very good starter. So it's a rare, so it takes up one of our rare slots, but it's a 2/1 for 1 green, already pretty solid right there. But when it comes into the battlefield, it comes in with a +1/+1 counter on it if you already control a permanent with mana value 4 or greater. Or, whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, put a +1/+1 counter on Ascendant Pack Leader. So it has an ability to give itself +1 counters in the mid to late game. We have Evolving Adaptive. This one is it kind of follows the same lines, but a little bit different. So it says it's a one green mana card, 0/0. Evolving Adaptive enters the battlefield with an oil counter on it. Evolving Adaptive gets +1/+1 for each oil counter on it. So that means it starts as a 1/1. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, if that creature has greater power or toughness than Evolving Adaptive, put an oil counter on Evolving Adaptive. So whenever you play something bigger than this guy, he also gets bigger, so more +1 counters. We have 3 copies of Tyvar's Stand. This is in here for to act as a safeguard against creature kill, and also as a pump spell to help get the last little bit of damage in. Then we have Armored Scrapgorger. He is your basic mana dork. He starts as a 0/3, and he becomes a 3/3 later on if he stays on the table long enough. But basically, he gets +3/+0 as long as it has 3 or more oil counters on it. And its ability is to tap and add 1 mana of any color. Whenever Armored Scrapgorger becomes tapped, exile target card from a graveyard and put an oil counter on Armored Scrapgorger. So every time he eats something out of the graveyard, he gets an oil counter on him. So this guy's in here to pull double duty as an oil counter generator, mana generator, and also to get pesky cards out of your opponent's graveyard. So pretty good against reanimation strategies. Here we have Cankerbloom. This one's a little bit more interesting. It's more of a utility choice. For 1 and a green, it's a 3/2. You can pay 1 and sacrifice it to choose one of these 3 abilities: destroy an artifact, destroy an enchantment, or proliferate. And the proliferate, since we're going with a theme of +1 counters, oil counters, all that stuff, it's going to be very, very useful. So you might end up using this for its proliferate ability, honestly. Then we have Gaia's Gift. This is another one of those protection style spells, but it also gives a +1/+1 counter onto the creature that you cast it on. So it's a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains Reach, Trample, Hexproof, and Indestructible until end of turn. So this is a pretty decent combat trick. So we're running with 4 of those. Here we're starting to get into the synergy cards, the cards that are going to kind of tie the deck together a little bit. So this is Ozolith, the Shattered Spire. For 1 and a green, it's an artifact, a legendary artifact. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on an artifact or creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters are put on it instead, or that many plus an additional. So this is a way to like double up the counters you're putting on things. And then has the ability of 1 green tap, put a +1/+1 counter on target artifact or creature you control, activate only as a sorcery. And it also has cycling of 2 in case you have an extra one in your hand. So this is going to be a way to get more +1 counters on creatures later on in the game. Plus, being able to put them on itself, instead of relying on other cards to put the counters there. Over here we have Bloated Contaminator. It's a really good card for the mana investment. It's only 3 mana, and it's a 4/4 Trample Toxic 1, so it can start applying poison counters if you need to go that route. And then Bloated Contaminator deals combat damage to a player, Proliferate. So again, it can help your team by pumping the numbers up, or get that last point of poison damage in. But this deck is not looking to win through poison damage. It's looking to win through just making a wide board and making it tall. After that, we have 4 Kami of Whispered Hopes. This is a little bit of a weird choice, but it's in here because it serves the same purpose that the Ozolith does. So for 3 mana, it's a 1/1 spirit. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a permanent you control, that many +1 +1/+1 counters are put on that permanent instead. So it does the exact same thing that the Ozolith does. And its other ability is to tap and add X mana of any one color, where X is Kami of Whispered Hope's power. So if this card happens to get large and in charge, you can also tap it for a bunch of mana. Then we have Tribute to the World Tree. For 3 green mana, so this is not a card that you're going to be seeing in a whole lot of multicolored decks. Enchantment, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card if its power is 3 or greater. Otherwise, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Seems good to me. It's card draw, and it also serves the purpose of getting your creatures big. Now, all these red cards over here, you notice that these are all like the expensive cards in the deck. So we decided to go for a more low to the ground, more aggressive strategy. All these higher cost cards, not really going to do it for me. So we're kicking all those out. But we are going with 2 copies of Defend the Celestis. For 4 mana, instant, you can distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures you control. So you can give a single +1 to 3 different creatures, or 3 +1 counters to a single creature. But bear in mind, this works in conjunction with Kami of Whispered Hopes and Ozolith. So it can be a lot more than just 3 counters. And then we have 2 copies of Defiler of Vigor. It is a 6/6 for 5 mana. Again, more power and toughness for the mana investment. Really good. It has Trample, and as an additional cost to cast green permanent spells, you may pay 2 life. Those spells cost 1 green less to cast if you paid life this way. This effect reduces only the amount of green mana you pay. Whenever you cast a green permanent spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So this guy bumps the entire team every time you play another creature. It's really, really solid in this deck. And then there is the 25 Forests. You'll notice in these upgrade decks, I am not changing the land count at all. I'm leaving the land as is. So, with that in mind, this is what the deck's going to be looking like. It's going to be just a simple creature deck. Got a few combat tricks in there. Very keen on the +1/+1 counter strategy. So let's take it out there onto the ladder and see how well it does. All right, so we have 3 forests, and we're looking at Tyvar Stand, Armored Scrapgorger, Bloated Contaminator, and Kami of Whispered Hopes. So let's see how well this does. Let's go play Forest. Oh, is this a mono-green matchup? I'm into it. See, does this need to eat something or does it just tap? Okay, just whenever it becomes tapped. It does not necessarily have to eat something. What? Alright. I mean, I'm into it. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and play the Evolving Adaptive first. Then we're going to play the Bloated Contaminator, so it gets a +1. Fight Rigging, okay. That would be a good card for this deck too, just because it applies counters every turn. Do you have a difficult choice to make? Apparently he does. It's taken a while to make this choice. I wonder if he's going to be like trying to like cheat out like a big mana spell, or if it's just here to put +1 counters. There we go. Alright, +1 counter on the Ascendant. Alright. Let's see here. So we have 5 mana available, so I'm going to play a Kami of Whispered Hopes. And hold it mana for Gaia's Gift. So we go next. Next. We're going to attack with these. And see what he chooses to do. He chooses nothing. Okay, cool. Yeah. I do like some proliferate action. Fight Rigging number 2, okay. Resolve. Alright, pass. Alright, make him bigger. Alright, my turn. Ooh, Defend the Celestus. Okay, so next, we will attack, attack, attack. See how he decides to block. Or if he decides to block. Okay, he wants to go after that. Alright, so we're going to cast Defend the Celestus. We're going to do a +1 here, here, and here. Big babies. We'll proliferate that. Ooh. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Gallagreators, okay. And Fight Rigging number 3. Okay, he's gonna make a big baby. That's gonna be a big dang elf. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, it was over. Okay, so we got 3 lands. Tyver's Stand, Cankerbloom, Kami, and Defend the Celestus. I don't really like this. I think we need to mulligan it. Okay, that's much better. Yeah, we'll keep that. I'm going to send Defend the Celestus back and keep the rest. Another green deck, huh? Alright. Why am I playing against green decks all of a sudden? This is weird. Alright, let's attack. Alright, he chooses to block. Slam a +1 counter on him. Get him out of there. Land of War Loam Speaker. Okay. Let's play another land. Next, I'll attack. Alright, it gets through. And we will now cast the Bloated Contaminator. Argoth, huh? Okay. I just got a total of 4 mana to play with right now. Alright, it's choosing not to do anything with it. Let's go next. So I'll attack, see what he does. Looks like he's just going to take it. Alright. Yeah, we will definitely proliferate. And we're going to play a Canker Bloom. End the turn. I like Canker Bloom. For only 2 mana, having that much versatility is really, really good. Hound Tamer. Interesting. Yeah, it's funny. It's like I was actually looking at that when I was thinking about how to construct this deck with +1 counters. Let's see. 0. Confirm. Resolve. All right, my turn. Ooh, tribute to the World Tree. Okay, let's start with just an attack. See how they choose to block. Okay. Yeah, let's just let it die. Oh, he was just gonna give up anyways. Cool. Okay, we got 3 lands. Ascendant Pack Leader, Tybar Stand, Armor Scrapgorger, and Ozolith. Looks good to me. Alright, let's start here. Go with the Ascendant Pack Leader. Let's see what they do. Okay, so we're against red-green this time. A little bit different. Alright, let's go here. And we'll go for the Ozolith. And we will attack. Alright. It's choosing not to do anything. So let's go ahead and play the Scrapgorger. We'll just keep a little bit of mana open so we can Tyvar Stand if we need to. I kind of want to babysit just that 1 green mana at all times. Perfect. Alright, let's go ahead and pay 0. Confirm. And we will protect our Armored Scrapgorger. There we go. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, let's eat that. Oh. Alright, end turn. That was a big Scrapgorger. Jewel Thief. Okay. Resolve. Okay. It's going to use that to make a Gold Hound. Pass. Alright, I'm going to cycle this. Okay. Alright, land. I was going to play Kami of Whispered Hopes. And we're going to give a whole bunch of +1 counters there. Next. No attacks. End turn. That is a big Kami. Question is, what are you going to do with your time? He's going to play another Jewel Thief. Okay. Make a treasure token. Security Rocks. Interesting. So yeah, he makes a 5/4 using just treasures. Okay, cool. Alright, end of turn. I'm going to make a blue mana and eat that. Alright, my turn. Okay, let's see here. Let's go ahead and play Canker Bloom. Activate. Here. Make big baby. And then we'll say next. I don't really want to attack into that because they could double block and kind of ruin my day. So no attacks just yet. End turn. I'm kind of interested to see what he's going to do. Galligrators, okay. Sticky Fingers. Enchanted creature has menace, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. When enchanted creature dies, draw a card. Okay. You want to swing in, huh? Okay, well, let's go ahead and we will block. Oh, no. Let's go to blocks. We're not going to create mana. We'll take these two and block right there. You want to kill the Canker Bloom? That's fine. Draw your card. And end of turn, make a blue mana. Eat your security rocks. It gets even bigger. I'll take my turn. Okay, let's play a Tribute to the World Tree. I'm just going to start swinging. Oh, okay, he's just going to take it? Professional Facebreaker. Okay. Make a treasure token? Yeah, treasure token. Alright. Let's go and block that. Ow, 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 ow. Alright, he's gonna make some treasure tokens. Really, really solid card there. I like that a lot. Okay. I really want to draw a creature next turn though. Because I want to utilize this setup here. Ah, that sucks. That's fine, though. Play Forest. We're coming. Okay. Okay, so he just takes it. And that leaves him with a Jewel Thief and a Treasure Counter. What is he going to use all that mana for, though, is the question. For another Professional Facebreaker. Swing in for 3. You get it. For another Security Rocks. Okay. I like... Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Yep, let's go. Gobble that up. Okay. Bing, bang, boom. So you have any way to get rid of that? Because that's a big guy and he's coming face next turn. I guess not. Ah, he conceded before I could cast my card. Okay, here we are, collected for the post-game wrap, and I've got a few thoughts about this deck. First up, the +1/+1 counters theme for this, it can snowball out of hand real fast, and it's a lot of fun to watch it happen. The Tyvar stands and the Gaia's Gifts are absolutely necessary in a deck like this. Most people will probably go for what's the card? Tamiyo's Safekeeping, because it's 1 mana cheaper. But I like this one personally because it also puts a +1/+1 counter on the creature that you're saving. So I will gladly pay that 1 extra mana just to make sure that my guys are getting stronger as well as staying safe. But also the fact that this can be used on the offense is really good too, because it grants trample as well. So there's that. The Ozolith and the Kami of Whispered Hopes worked out really well. I liked the Kami a little bit more than the Ozolith, honestly, because it gives you a body to put those +1/+1 counters onto. Really, really good. The Bloated Contaminator was honestly an MVP in the games that this showed up in, just because of that proliferate. Like that proliferate on combat damage, really, really solid. Just being able to pump the entire team over and over with just this one card, can't ask for much more than that. Defend the Celestis, while expensive, ended up being a really solid combat trick just because it was distributing more than three +1/+1 counters. With the Kami Whispered Hopes and the Ozolith on the table, this could distribute 4, 6 counters at a time. That's really, really strong. Defiler Vigor, unfortunately, we did not get a chance to play it today, but from previous decks that I built with this, I know it's a solid include, so I probably want to keep this in the deck. But aside from that, it is fun, fundamental, simple, basic magic. I mean, it's putting green boys on the table, making them big, and turning them sideways. You can't really ask for much more than that. The Evolving Adaptive turned out to be pretty good. I think I played it like once or twice in today's games, and it ended up being very solid in the games that it did see play in. As far as cards, I would probably change some numbers on. I'd probably get rid of the Tribute to the World Tree. While it is great at getting +1/+1 counters on it, it doesn't really do anything on its own when you're casting it. It tends to be a 3-mana do nothing for the turn. So I'd probably replace that with either another combat trick or a bite spell, or actually probably replace that with fight rigging. Fight rigging would probably be a better case for that one, just because it gives +1/+1 counters to anything, not just whatever next comes into play. So fight rigging might be a better use than Tribute to the World Tree, at least in this deck. But yeah, that's it. It's a fun deck. I'm probably going to keep it, honestly. I mean, I had a lot of fun playing it, so it's a good deck for just jamming some fun, simple games when you're not too worried about climbing the ladder. So, anyways, I'm going to put a link to this deck list in the description below. So if you enjoyed the games, you want to try it yourself, feel free. So, till next time, take care of yourselves.